And walks right around the corner or makes, you get to be in the center. Keep coming. That's fine. Take a picture.
I was gonna say, we're gonna go on vacation.
Follow them. This morning, Jacob. That's this morning, Jacob. Do solemnly swear. Solemnly swear. That I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States. That I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States. And the Constitution of the State of Indiana. And the Constitution of the State of Indiana. That I take this obligation freely. That I take this obligation freely. Without any mental reservation. Without any mental reservation. And that I will faithfully discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter. And will faithfully discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter. I shall speak the truth at all times. I shall speak the truth at all times. And will faithfully and impartially. And will faithfully and impartially. Discharge my duties regardless. Discharge my duties regardless. Of race, creed, color. Of race, creed, color. Religion, sex, or national origin. Religion, sex, or national origin. Of the persons I serve. Of the persons I serve. I shall act with civility and courteousness. I shall with civility and courteousness. And behave in a manner both on and off duty. Behave in a manner both on and off duty. That reflects most favorably upon the department and the community. That reflects most favorably upon the department and the community. I accept this oath as an obligation. I accept this oath as an obligation. And do so freely without reservation. And do so freely without reservation. So help me God. So help me God. So as part of that oath, you guys have someone to take that. Somebody pick your badge. The person you come up now. Go back. I have it. You guys sit on? So, Justice Morgan and Dick Burns, you have now taken the oath of office and are officially sworn members of this department. On behalf of the officers, firefighters, and community we serve, we welcome you to the fire service. We trust you to uphold the traditions, values, and responsibilities that come with this badge. Congratulations. And welcome to stay to the meeting, but they're also just taking ice cream for you guys and your families in the kitchen. Perfect. Keep it great. Take some pictures. Real quick. Jacob or Justin, you guys, we can take a picture.
Oh.
Nice to meet you. Hey, Brian.
You guys might be, so this, I'm gonna present to the screen if you guys can move to the side, yeah. While we do that, they can take pictures. Cheryl, actually, I'm gonna be presenting one here. If you're gonna sit there, that's fine, otherwise I'll put a chair on this side. Well, you wanna see the screen. So, if you wanna sit there, that's fine.
Okay.
I think if we just. I just think you're gonna be facing the TV. I think you're gonna see the TV. Yeah.
Do I have to be on so they can see me to know I'm here?
I'm gonna be presenting on there. And you're gonna look on there.
We're taking it out of your, wait just a second, so you guys can take pictures. Give us a second.
Hey, Jace,
Chairs around.
well, who knows what happens on Thursday?
I'm gonna go down there.
I'm hoping we got it.
Looks great, guys. Thank you.
Perfect.
Oh, so when we were with Center Township, we had this 19 uniform.
If what? No, I think they're definitely sharper now.
Right idea.
I'm gonna have to get it.
Do you wanna go get some cake?
Yeah.
Gotta go before coffee too.
You got that, no.
Thanks.
Most of it is there.
I'm late, Sheriff.
Oh, nice one.
All right, so now I got Emily staring at me, putting the pressure on me. You're fine, do whatever you want, you're good.
Yeah, we know.
I think it's like Culver.
It's okay, I can handle it.
I think it's that Culver, like the spirit. He's liking it.
No, you're fine, you're fine, I'm totally too. Like the hot seat now, everybody just staring at me.
Forty six into the afternoon with a normal life is.
Okay. So, the only other thing we really have for the combined agenda is the annual financial review. After that's over, all questions, discussion is done. We can adjourn that portion of the meeting. If the folks who are not on the St. Joe County Fire Territory would like to leave, at that time they could, or they could stay. So it's really up to them. So that's how the rest of the meeting will go, okay? So, I'm gonna go ahead and move forward now. And I am going to, let's see here. Hopefully they can. Eric, you can still see my screen, right?
No, sir.
You say no? I'm supposed to be doing something. This whole time I probably should have been sharing my screen. How about now?
Yep, got it now.
The whole time you couldn't see?
No, I just see your guys' bright, shiny faces.
Oh, man, sorry to hear. Okay. Let's see. All right, so there is no real prescribed way to do this, so we kind of just invented a way to do it. And that's what we put together here, which clearly is not on the screen. You know what, I'm about ahead of a technology. So. How about that? How about that? Okay, here we go. So, as I said, there's no real prescribed way to do this, so we just kind of went through and did it. Now, you did receive some reports ahead of time. I sent you, the vendor report. I sent an altered report there based on Eric's request. So,
Jason, look for your minutes, your Cheryl's here, we have the full form.
oh, yeah, good point. Yeah, make sure we add that Cheryl's in the meeting now. Thank you. So any questions on those vendor reports, anything like that? Happy to walk through all that. Let me go through my presentation and, I will stop at every slide if you guys have questions, okay? So let's move through it here. So the first thing we put up here is our total receipts and expenses by fund for the year 2025. Here are our two funds. So you can see we have basically the operating fund, which is the Fire Territory General Fund, and then the Equipment Replacement Fund. Naturally, neither of those funds started out with any money, because we hadn't received any money. Why the Fire Territory General Fund is negative is because Portage Township basically loaned money to the territory by way of paying expenses until the Fire Territory received its money starting in June. So technically speaking, the operating fund started out with a negative $39,000 balance, which was then paid back to Portage Township. Our ending balance here is $20,000 in the Fire Territory General Fund, and then in the Equipment Replacement Fund, $435,000. Total disbursements was $9.7 million, and that includes a $4 million loan that was received by Portage Township to front, basically for cash flow purposes. So we didn't actually spend $9.7 million because included in that number is $4 million that were loaned to Portage Township to cover the cash flow for the fire territory. And then we spent about $500,000 out of the equipment replacement fund. And then you can see the receipts next to it with 9.8 million and 918,000. So included in those receipts would be Portage Township's contribution to the territory and equipment replacement fund, as well as Warren Township's, as well as the reserves that were left over from Warren Township and from Center Township, and from Portage Township from the previous budget year. Also added to both of those would be some payments that we received from Center Township. Over the course of the year, basically we had a divorce. Portage Township had a divorce. Center Township did not want to come with us. There was property that we jointly owned, so they didn't want it anymore. Or they did want it and they had to pay us for it. And so some of those receipts would have came from that form as well. There are no expected more receipts from Center Township. They've either paid us for everything they should have paid us for, or have now sold off, I believe, sold off everything that was to be sold off.
In regards to the bond, you paid that for me. All.
No, that wasn't a bond, that was just a loan, and Portage Township paid that off.
Yeah.
Yep,
That's what you
yep,
paid that.
that's right, yep, paid that off, and with the interest, exactly right. That was paid off the end of December, and then we went and got another one for 2.5 million, yep. Any other questions on this slide?
For the same reason, Jason, second one.
Yep, that's right, yep, that's right, and the idea would be less and less, we need less and less of it as we start to build up our cash reserves. As you can see, we don't have a ton of cash reserves right now, but that's what we would hope to start building up over time. But yes, good question.
In regards to the equipment replacement, Steve, got anything on order? Think about ordering anything or?
We have 2 fire trucks on order. It comes in December of 26 and one December 27.
Man, it take a while.
Yeah, I do.
But he has ideas and he's putting together a plan. We've asked him to put together a capital request plan that the board will then review.
I saw that in a minute.
Radios, I think is on the top of the list.
Ambulance.
Yep, and then ambulance. But those major expenditures have to be approved by the territory board. So if everybody's ready, I'll go to the next slide. This really is just starting to get a little bit more granular and a little bit more detailed with the exact same information. This is the budget though. So instead of cash, the last slide was cash, actual cash on hand. Now we're talking about what was budgeted to be spent. And that's what this is showing here. So for instance, for the equipment replacement fund, $486,000 was appropriated and we spent $482,900, and you can see the unexpended balance there. Same with the one below that would be the operating fund. We appropriated 5.7 and change. We spent 5.5 and change. And that was our remaining balance at the end of the year in those funds. Again, budget, not cash. So our grand total is, we came under budget by $189,738. Now, breaking down that budget even further, this is what you have in your hands there. And I had emailed, this just breaks down those appropriations and expenditures by line item. So as you can see here, from the point of the State Board of Accounts, what they care about most is that how you ended your entire fund. They don't want you ending your fund negative, that you've spent less money than you've appropriated, which we knew we succeeded at here. The second thing they'd like you to do is make sure that you didn't overspend in any of these account series. Well, in one instance, we did fail to do that. We did overspend in this 1,000 account series. And we overspent that account by $66,000. And as you can see, that was because of group insurance. When we started this insurance plan, we had to estimate how much we thought. We didn't have real-time data. We didn't know how sick people were, how many claims that we would have, how many rebates we would get. So we really had to operate based on estimates. And that's why I believe we were off there. When I say the State Board of Accounts wants to see, they're not coming in here with G-men and suits. It's just on an audit. They're going to note that on an audit. For Portage Township, as a matter of fact. So the territory doesn't get audited. The township, Portage Township will be audited, and this will likely show up as an audit finding, but it will be a minor finding. So it's not something that we anticipate being a huge problem.
In regards to group insurance, Keith, did you go out for quotes for that, or did you guys?
No, we're self-insured. Yes, we did. So before we decided to do the self-insured route, we tried to get an actual, like your typical employer-based provider policy. Most places refused to even provide us with a plan. And the one that did was,
Anthem.
I think it was Anthem, and it was much more expensive than how it would be group funding or doing self-insured. So I mean, it's a risk and it's a ton of work. The self-insured model is, but, that's why we ended up going that route.
Why they refuse? I mean, why did nobody want it?
Small, the size, you're so small, and we have, some people with some pretty serious,
I think to your point on group insurance, we didn't have really data that we could give them.
that's right.
To say, we have 40 people and here's what our health records are like. So how do they bid on a very unknown, even though we're small, there's a big unknown to them. So that's, I think, what made it.
That's right. So for this plan for future budget year, we use what we know, which is we're estimating about $11,000 or $12,000 per FTE, per person in each fund, based on previous expenses.
Have we got any rebates back? this
Oh,
year?
yeah, tons of rebates. That happens on a recurring basis. So you get pharmaceutical rebates primarily, and,
Even if we work with our employees to, if they're having a procedure done to go to the hospital where they're gonna get the better rates than if they go to a place where they're not, like elective surgery, things of that.
Yeah.
So
they call them cost savings measures.
So the biggest rebates are from prescription drugs, with the Smith RX policy that they have. If you are using any kind of the high dollar, especially, pharmaceutical or drugs, they work to find different sources, whether it's through Mark Cuban or other avenues to get those at a discounted rate, and then that savings comes back to us.
From a, let me get you in a second, Cheryl. Let me just finish Bobby's question. It's from, again, budget and cash is sort of different. From a budget standpoint, we still have to budget how much we send out, how much in checks we write. So we might write $600 and some $1,000 in checks, but receive $160,000 back. So our actual cash out the door would be 400 and some thousand, but we have to budget the full amount because those are the checks we're writing.
So now that you have the numbers for this year, could you go out for quotes and see what you could find a better deal, or have you approached the county and see if you can jump on the counties?
We haven't approached the county, but there wouldn't be anything to quote, I guess, because when we got the,
Would you get a better deal going out for quotes now that you know the numbers?
um,
From whoever you're with now.
so when we went and got quotes from those insurance companies, the employer provider insurance companies, we all had to take questionnaires that we self-reported what all our issues were, and that's what they quoted on.
All the employees?
Yes, yeah, we all had to do a questionnaire for that. So it's probably not likely that we would, so you mean, don't do the self-funded model anymore?
No, I'm not saying that.
Well, if we went and did something else, that's what we would do, because otherwise we're managing it directly, like if, the chief goes to the doctor, we just cut a check to him to go to the doctor, like, we are the insurance company, like the county. But we haven't approached the county
Yeah,
yet.
there's other entities in the county that have jumped on the county's plan,
Mhm.
you know?
Yeah, I mean, I'd be
I
happy
think
to ask them.
your point is, whether it's every year or every second or every third year, I think it's prudent to evaluate what you have versus what is out there, to see if there's cost savings, whether that's for sure this year or whether that would be next year. I think it's probably a little bit to decide. It'd be really only 1 year of data. That might be a small pool to really have that, but I would think after 2 years of data, we'd have a lot more trends that you could probably competitively bid out.
If it's too late for this budget year, but I can ask the commissioners if they'd be interested for the next budget year. The only meeting we had with them was the one we had with you, where they said, well, we're not gonna provide ambulance service anymore, let alone insurance, but we can ask them. I think we should.
Then, what, yeah, we definitely should,
Yeah, it'd be an administrative,
In writing.
it would be an administrative relief, yeah. I will take that as an action item too, and I'll include you on there, to email, and get a meeting going.
Just to see what, they would say.
Yeah, I'll send myself that up.
Chief, before we went to the fire territory, when the department was volunteers, did we have any kind of health insurance for those volunteers at the time or? Or when you went full time before we went to the territory? Did you have insurance for them at the time?
So two different groups of people you, I think you asked about, for
Yeah, I did.
volunteers,
No. Okay,
we never provide medical
except for
coverage.
workman's comp or something like that.
Correct, but for any employee we had, full-time employee, yes, we always provided medical insurance for that, correct.
When did we go full time?
Did you go full-time?
How many years ago?
10 or 11 years ago, I think.
Yeah, well,
11, yeah. Years ago, Jim? Yeah, so it's probably 11 or 12 years ago.
So then that shifted. And we provided it before the territory. Were you self-insured before as well?
No, we used it.
It was the jumps in premiums that we got.
It was new.
No, it was just, I mean, they wanted a 30% increase in premiums. It was going to be a significant increase in cost.
Anthony.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, we did quote them for the 2025 budget year. Because doing the self-insured thing was really scary. A lot of work.
Well, yeah, yeah.
My question, I saw something on TV. It was a fire person whose insurance was denying something. They had to do with cancer. And then they went on to talk about, in the news segment, that it was something fire people often get because of some kind of foam that was used.
PFAS. PFAS.
I did remember. Anyway, so I guess I'm asking, our insurance covers that kind of stuff, right?
Actually, I love this question, Cheryl. So it would for medical, it wouldn't matter.
Okay.
One thing that you might be circling is, as a fireman, you're exposed to additional risk for cancer
Right,
because of the
yeah, that's
chemicals
what they
that
were
are.
talking about.
So we do, as it's not part of our health insurance, but it's part of our liability insurance. We have what's called no cause insurance.
Okay,
There is insurance that exists out there that says if you're a fireman and you get cancer, and if you can prove that you got cancer because of this fire that you went into, you get a check. You get a big check to help cover additional expenses and all that. And the insurance company that was telling us about this said they've had exactly 0 claims of that because those underwriters make it exceedingly difficult for a fireman to prove that they got the cancer from that. So what we do is have a rider on our policy
okay,
that is any fireman who gets, actually any township or fireman employee who gets cancer automatically gets I'm gonna say it's a $30,000 check.
That's what I was waiting for.
That's right.
That's what we just signed up for, didn't we? Sam, is that something that I?
So there's a couple things that go.
Your death benefit as well as a board.
the insurance side.
So there's a few things that happen in that, especially in that cancer spectrum in the last few years. They now have a state statute law that says if you're a member of the 77 fund, which all the, probably 4 of our members are, you no longer have to prove that the cancer is line of duty related.
Line of duty.
Once you get cancer, it's presumed line of duty, and then any line of duty related, either death or other benefits are available to you. And in that regard, insurance we have through Provident has a very, I don't want to use the term lucrative, but a very good, that's a better way to describe it, very good cancer provisions for our guys. Even to the extent that just when you get your first diagnosis, you receive a check for $25,000 to assist in just your added expenses you're going to have as you're running around to see different appointments and things of that nature. So to answer your question, the PFAS, yes, our insurance does cover if that.
This officer was having difficulties getting stuff.
Exactly, and at one time, it was a very, labor task, proved that his cancer was terrible. Obviously, taking that little out is no.
That's right. It's just territory.
Let me know.
They only cover the fire territory board. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that answered my question. Like I said, I saw.
No, I'm glad you asked it because I think it's a really cool thing.
So knowing those numbers for the group insurance now, do we know what we're paying per employee for the group insurance?
Yeah, we budgeted $11,000 per employee.
Per
I
employee?
think the county budget, I want to say Lana said 13, but you and I will figure that out.
13,
per employee is what I thought the county budgeted.
a department head was, the department head was told, well, out of their budget, it was 18.5 when I done.
That's not what we pay for sure.
It was 18.5. Now, I don't know, you know, on the county side, I don't know what that number is now.
Well, I think that's what we'll want to know, because I imagine that's what they'd want to charge us.
Well, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, but we can
I
ask,
mean, we can find
it
that
might be
out.
worth the administrative,
I can find that out.
it might be worth the administrative, relief. I think it's a great idea.
I mean, they provide that service for other,
I didn't know they were still doing it.
I would, on record, just, that county insurance is terrible insurance. I mean, there's a lot of people that have moved off of that. It's really, our level of medical insurance we have now surpasses what the county offers. That's really not an apples to apples comparison on
well, that's what I would like to see. Do
of the quality of care and the quality of services that our guys receive. That would actually be going backwards in level of care that they can get now for their family. So they may save some dollars. I personally would be against us doing that for our guys.
well, and I wouldn't want to do that if that's the case, Jim, but do we have a contract that you can share with us?
But yep, what we cover and all that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
can you get that to me?
Yeah,
But if that's the case, Chief, I wouldn't let them do
yeah,
that.
if you look a lot.
I'm just saying it's not bad to look.
It doesn't have the best of reputation at county level insurance compared to what we offer for our guys now.
I will have, we have a rep that we work, that works with us with our, for the insurance, and I'll have them put together that and we'll, get it over to you. Then you can send it to whoever to compare.
Yeah,
But we can still talk to them.
just like the city.
Yeah, maybe they can match it. I can always come back to this, but I know, some folks gotta go. So, here's just the rest of that budget breakdown. As you can see, we came in well under budget in the 3,000 account series. And then, just under budget in the equipment replacement fund.
Chief, on the fuel, do you work on the state bid on that? I see you got, what do you use, Keystone?
Keystone.
Yeah. Do you work off the state bid?
We're not part of the state bid, but I think our price is the same. I have to look what the price per gallon in there, but I don't, it's not off the state bid, I don't believe. I'd have to find out for sure on that.
But you're entitled to that state bid if it's, you know,
Yeah, but if it's there, I mean, I'd have to look and see if that's, I'd have to verify that, find out. Yeah,
you pay taxes on both of them.
no.
So that is, the budget breakdown. Happy to come back to it. We've got Bobby till 6:15, so I'm gonna make sure we get to the appointment of officers. Investments, we just threw this up on here to show what we earned from investments. The township fund I included on here, just because, I don't know, I think the cash might get crossed, but this is the Indiana Trust, Indiana Bond Bank, that we hold. A lot of that is the loan. So we took $4 million, however much we didn't think we needed for a while. We stuck in Indiana Trust, and that was the interest we got from it throughout the year. EMS billing is new. As you guys know, we've just started doing EMS billing. And there's a decent little amount in that account already. And so, we've gotten a little bit of interest because we haven't spent any of that money yet. And then health insurance as well. We have created, that was new later in the year. We created a separate fund to hold health insurance money, to transfer rebates, all that kind of stuff. So that earned a little bit of interest, as well.
Chief, how much approximately have we gotten back on that app? Reimbursement?
Billing, EMS billing, yeah, $80,078 is in the bank.
How much you bill approximately?
And that represents also $158,075 in billed.
Yeah, did you say that we went?
We actually are, for our amount of collection versus bill, we're actually tracking, I think, pretty well. The total billing is around 361,000 that we billed. The invoices that have been cleared is close to 158,000, and then the money that we've actually collected is $80,000. So we're actually.
You hired somebody to do that, right?
They do, yeah, service, yeah, they do that.
Service the city has, I think.
Yeah.
No,
But we don't go out, we don't chase collections.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The city does.
Yes.
She wants to know when the accounts were created.
Well, you said, as you all know, this is new for us. What do
Well,
you?
so EMS billing is, we will start doing that in June, providing transport. They start
Because that was the first time we were approved too.
to do it.
Exactly right.
And then we started the EMS bill in August, so we didn't get money, start seeing money until probably September or October, so, yeah, so, yeah.
Nope, yep, I should have clarified that, sorry. And then I included this slide here. I know this is something that we talked about this year and that we want to make sure we're tracking next year, so it's been included as sub-accounts in the 2026 budget. These are our overtime hours and costs along with part-time hours and costs for the year 2025.
That's not staff, but that's firefighters, right?
There's no township staff. Yeah, no township office staff, sure. We don't do overtime. On the,
We don't get flex time or comp time either, correct?
yeah, I've shied away from it, I'll be honest with you. It's a funny thing, that flex time. Napkin math.
Is that normal?
Well, this is high. We were understaffed for a good 6 months of the beginning of the territory here, so we would not expect a repeat of these numbers.
So are they up to what they need as far as the number of firefighters? Or
Well, yeah, you should ask me that, I guess, not him.
We have 3 shifts, ideally all real shifts, so that minimum staff of 13 full-time firefighters. We'd love to get this to 15. Okay, so, 13 allows us to do our job, 15 helps us continue to reduce the overtime expense, because obviously the 11,000 or 10,000 hours that you show there in overtime, a lot of that is covered for people
Buddy,
for their time off or whatever the case is.
Right.
When you have that 14th or 15th person on staff, you don't have to cover with overtime when someone is off. So that's always a tricky balance of bringing on those additional people versus paying overtime for people.
So it's cheaper to pay an additional person?
In some respects, yes, there is some, because that other person you hire in, there's other expenses that come along with that person as well too, but that's why we try to increase our part-time staff and keep them used in there as well.
So what's the prospects of getting your 14th and 15th person?
We're not right now actively looking for that person. If we found something good, if I come back to our board and say, hey, we'd like to go from 13 to 14 people as a staff. Right now, we're not actively pursuing to try to fill that
Why?
budget.
we are at our budgeted amount.
If we had that person, we're really good.
We over your budget, okay, gotcha.
What these two tonight, are you full now, Steve, or
They,
what?
they bring those up to 13
They're-
on each shift.
We had some
So
reservations
there,
to replace their replacement.
was there a third person that went in vacant or to?
We actually had a person who, for some personal reasons, didn't want to go to the ceremony.
So yes, there was 3.
How far up the chain does overtime go? To
I don't get it.
everybody below you then?
And the frontline people who work a 24-hour shift are eligible for overtime. So if they're working a 24-hour shift, they may be covering another person's shift or whatever the case is, so they're eligible for overtime.
Not the chief or assistant chief.
Yeah.
This is my final slide here, which is just the tax rates. And as you can see, the tax rate for the fire territory will actually go down in 2026. You might ask why, and that's actually a pretty significant decrease. That is because remember that the tax rate is a mathematical equation that is derived from our budget. So although our budget increased by the maximum they allow us to increase it, which is 4%, assessed values in the territory also went up. They went up more than our budget increased, so the overall tax rate actually goes down.
Is that having to do with SB 1 stuff?
No, no, that just freezes us. This just is because if you look at assessed value as the pool of money that's available, the pool of money increased, but our budget didn't increase that amount, so the rate goes down. Even though taxpayers are actually paying more because the value of their homes went up. So it's an awkward thing to have it's an awkward conversation to have with a taxpayer, to tell them their tax rate's actually going down. Because they're paying more.
Mhm. So my question was, how is SB1 going to affect the territories?
Happily, we won't know. Yeah, that's, Bobby's exactly right.
We'll know that in June, May.
Yeah, the way the way we talk about it is we just take it each budget, one budget year after the next. The one big thing that we should all be prepared for, that we should all be involved in, is the conversation when it comes to the local income tax. Moving forward, starting 2027, pay 2028, right now, it will change how local income tax is distributed. Right now, it is a rate that is set by the county and then distributed to all the taxing units. That's going away, and the county will be able to set their own rate. Cities will be able to set their own rate. For us city residents, that means we could pay 2 income tax rates. But from our standpoint, from the territory, we are going to have to go to the county and basically, what's the word they use, petition to receive that lit money. Now, the township meetings that any of us have been a part of, everybody is singing the same song. We don't know what the makeup of the county is gonna look like territory wise then, Penn, Clay could be merging, Olive may end up, coming over here, Green. So it's just a conversation that we'll have to have at the time, but I think we'll all be united in saying that we want our slice of that.
We could expand on that comment, but we'll leave it at it.
Yeah, well, it's a shame. That income tax piece, that's really hurtful for people in our area. So that is our financial review. I'm happy to have any other questions folks have about that. Otherwise, we would adjourn this portion of the meeting and then do our regular territory meeting. Anybody online? Eric, you good?
Nope, I don't have any questions.
This is Al.
Okay.
I'm good.
Oh, Al is there. Thanks, guys. Any other discussion items from anyone else?
Can we get an organizational chart of the department itself? Chief, you know,
It was much simpler than some that I've seen recently.
But briefly, I kind of remember it, okay, Cheryl brought up firefighter on TV, weren't we talking about some equipment that would protect us in my phone?
But one thing that we do is, one of the things that Cheryl referring to is the PFAS is in a lot of the stronger firefighting gear. So one of the things that we do is we buy a separate set of what is referred to as wildland gear. Generally speaking, it's PFAS free. So right now, structural firefighting, you need that full structural firefighting gear. For all the other calls, auto accidents, bad weather, whatever the case is, you don't really need that, but then guys do wear it because that's what's available. So we make available to them a set of gear to wear for all the other stuff when we're not going into a fire. And that, we think, significantly reduces their risk or helps risk of that exposure, that PFAS. So we do that now with all of our guys. So one reason why when we hire a new person, it costs us $10,000. They essentially get 2 sets of gear, one for fire structure fires and one for everything else.
It was just interesting to me, that they were having trouble getting their insurance to pay for the treatments the doctors were recommending and all. That's why I asked.
Did anything ever happen with that state legislation that Representative Bauer was trying to pass?
It did go through the pilot test. I can tell, because I was one that, they did run their numbers. They actually Eric could probably speak a little bit more on this. The full, document is now, it just got released. So you can, the full document for the PFAS test for, it's like 5,000 people in the state of Indiana, or 5,000 firefighters in the state of Indiana. Did get, it actually, I just saw it on her Facebook this afternoon that she posted it, did get released.
Okay.
Yep.
So yeah, I can, Representative Bauer sent it to me earlier today. They sent out the general, they have a general summary and then the big giant document that's got all the information, which just shored up what we already knew is that, you know, we had more elevated amounts in our body. And it speaks to like when they interviewed the people or I wasn't selected, so I don't know exactly what the questionnaire was, but they asked about things like having other sets of gear to be able to wash and having access to that, doing decontamination on scene, the amount of time that they're in their gear and actually exposed to that gear. So kind of like what Jason was talking about with, or I think it was Jason or Steve, about having something else to wear that isn't your fire gear, if in the cold weather, stuff like that, all that helps. Documented that all of those people, you know, had less amount, so I guess, or a smaller amount in their bloodstream, which was pretty good because it's there forever. So let's say they have all that stuff on the DHS website now about all that. What's going to come from it, I don't. It was just kind of to get a baseline of now that we can show that we have more than the general public, and you know, a handful of years down the line, maybe we can do it again, and you know, it can push for legislation for protections and stuff like that. But at least the questionnaires they did prove to where you know, it's, you know, if the guys weren't asking for something else to wear besides their fire gear, they probably would be now. So it sounds like it's good that they've got it, and some of the procedures that are in place. But yeah, it's been a long time coming. Finally, just came out like today.
You asked, you did.
You made it happen. Okay, well, I'm happy to adjourn this portion of the meeting and in a moment call the regular meeting of the St. Joe County Fire Territory to order. So I would say it is optional for any member of Warren or Portage Township who is not appointed to the board or a member of the board may leave it now if they would like, or they can stay.
Since Brian isn't here, do you need one of us to stay?
I don't. We have quorum. I knew what you would do. Count on it on Friday. Count on Friday. Okay, I'll just let you know what time. Who has Warren appointed to the board? All right. So Sam, if you can have Emma fill out her life insurance. So as a member of the Fire Territory Board, you are part of the territory's life. It's just an automatic benefit for some reason that we all get. It's a death benefit, so it's nothing exciting. So rather than that, rather than the $25,000 getting wrapped up in probate court, you can actually determine who you would like to see get that thing. And Sam will get that form to you. See you later, Cheryl. Be careful.
Yeah.
He could have walked you out like a gentleman.
Oh, I'm
Yeah,
fine.
yeah.
Did you see that?
Want me to walk you out, Carol?
No, I'll make it.
There's a tough neighbor.
Did he go have cake? He's having cake. Oh, yeah, she's having cake.
Hey. I can get him. I'm trying to do it easy.
Okay, I will go ahead and call a regular meeting of the St. Joe County Fire Territory to order. As a roll call, I have, Emily and Wendy's here, but noting that Emily is the new appointee to the St. Joe County Fire Territory Board. I have, Bobby Kay here, Warren Township trustee. Myself obviously is here. Ryan Hill is absent. Ryan Hill is the appointed Portage Township member board. And Chief Downey is here. Buddy Curseth is here online, and is currently the acting chair of the fire territory. But I will, act in his stead as the secretary, with him being online. So,
Thank you.
yes, any adjustments to that? Approval of the agenda, asking for an approval of this agenda here.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion made.
I'll second that.
Seconded by Wendy. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Probably need to have a different second.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. You seconding? Yeah, I'm seconding.
Second.
Okay. Buddy seconded. Buddy seconded that, Sam. Add that in. Approval of the minutes.
Accept the minutes from the December 11th meeting.
Probably have to have one of the members of the fire territory board. Thank you though, Wendy. By the way, I like your haircut.
What?
Is that new, your hair?
You did.
Yeah, looks different to me.
Glasses.
I'm gonna ask her for a campaign donation later, so I gotta, sweeten her up. Buddy made a motion to approve. Okay, seconded by Emily, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. New business, appointment of 2026 officers. I recommend we start with the nominations for the chair of the board. I would happily nominate Buddy Kursitz to remain as chair. By the way, Buddy Kursitz, just to reiterate, was appointed to the Fire Territory Board by Portage Township. Last year, he was appointed by Warren.
Is Ryan still the Portage Township?
He is still the Portage Township. Yeah. So I would nominate Buddy to remain as the chair of the Fire Territory Board.
Second then.
I gotta have Emily do it or Bobby. I'm sorry, Wendy. I appreciate it though.
Okay.
Seconded by Emily. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
Thank you very much. And again,
unanimous.
I apologize for not being there, but I have to make a presentation to the council this evening, or I would be there, but thank you.
Okay, okay. Thanks, buddy. I would look for a motion for the secretary of the board. Emily, you interested in doing that?
Doesn't matter, Sam.
Me.
Oh, you do?
Sam takes a minute. She does all the work.
She does.
Well, good. Would you accept the nomination? Okay, I nominate Emily.
Then you'll let me know what that means.
I will in a second.
Second?
Seconded by Buddy. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Emily is our new board secretary. I hand over the gavel to the officer in the room,
Where's the gap?
Emily.
Where's the gap?
I know, I need a gavel. You run the rest of the, you're the secretary. Buddy's not here, so you're the only other secretary. You're the only officer in the room. I'm not an officer. I'm just the guy with the computer.
Great. So equipment board union negotiation contacts. So this is new for me.
It's new for all of us. This is something that came up sort of at the end of last year. I can explain is, it would probably be good form. So we have, one of our union representatives is here, actually Nate Bishop. And, very quickly here, well, there's lots of things the union might want to have,
I think the president.
president. Sorry.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
They actually just also had elections, so congratulations, Nate. Mark Catan's right as vice. Okay,
President, Secretary.
okay,
You do positions, so we added four other board members, or, well, called board members, but trustees and, stewards. So kind of delegate some of the stuff out.
cool, okay. We think it would be a good idea if the board not had somebody designated as their contact for any sort of negotiations that might need to occur with fire territory union. Now, obviously, that seems wages, these kind of things. Fire territory board would have to approve anything, but it's kind of awkward to try to have conversations if you have no authority to act in that role. I acted in that role. The board gave me that role, towards the end of last year when we found that it was, probably a good idea based on the things that were going on there. So just getting ahead of that, I thought it'd be a good idea if we nominated someone to act in that role. I'm happy to remain in that role, or I'm happy to just go along with someone else who wants me to attend with them, as that person, but, I think we should designate someone
A member of the fire territory board to act as a,
to represent the board in any negotiations.
But we're actually having a negotiation, talking about wages. I think it's smart for someone from the board who also pays, someone to be part of that. So it's not just me and the union people, it's me and someone from the board negotiating with the union. So I'm not good.
Steve could agree to everything on the planet, but if he came to this board and we all said no,
How often does the board or the board person or the union meet?
Well,
The negotiations are going on now.
we meet all the time.
When you say that, what do you mean? Once a month, Steve?
We meet all the time. When we're talking wages, those would be a more scheduled event. Those might be, might be a couple times a year. It could be as it goes. If you get closer to, the end of let's say, preparing the budget cycle, you might be meeting every week, maybe even every other day. So you may be meeting a lot depending on, the proposal they have, what we want to do, and trying to figure out how we better for everybody. So it's hard to say that's just monthly. It could be weekly, it could be a couple times a week, just depending on how much there is to talk about there on the wages. But we as a union and myself, we meet at least once a month, if not every other week, just to talk about other stuff.
Which is good.
Yeah.
Which is good. I didn't know your format in regards to the budget was the same, right?
we're kind of just inventing as we go.
so the proposal that someone would join at each of these engagements or at a regular schedule?
It would probably be as needed.
Uh-huh.
And it will be needed at some point because, in our conversations last week or last year, I made commitments that we would look to do some sort of, I would like to, in my opinion, negotiate some sort of multi-year contract with the fire union. So, I think these guys are probably gonna wanna get going on what that looks like.
Is that right, Nate?
Yeah, essentially, we lay out goals to, we always want to get better. We want to stay competitive with other fire departments in the area. So our goal is to, maybe we shoot for the moon and it's settled somewhere in the middle, but we just want to continue to improve and be competitive in the area in general, just as a fire department.
And I would add, I'm sorry to cut you off, but it's a very much of a teamwork environment. I mean, we don't have the traditional adversarial relationship that a lot of unions have with their management of folks, and we want to keep it that way. But part of that is recognizing the work they do and increasing those benefits and staying competitive with everyone else in town that's going to start raising their rates in ways that they pay people. So we need to do that. We need to start doing that this spring was our commitment to everybody to begin doing that. So yeah, we'll be doing that.
Is there any kind of agreement now in writing, Keith, or?
We have an agreement, yeah, we have a, contract in place, right?
Can we get a cut?
Yeah, of course.
Or get a copy of that?
They can do one. Your one last year when it was signed.
Oh, we signed it with all this other stuff.
You know, but yeah.
It doesn't include anything about wage increases or compensation increases. It just says that we will negotiate them on an annual basis. It just became awkward where I was, I'm happy to come to meetings. I know the budget, I know the parameters and all that, but at a certain point it was like, well, I mean, I could offer this or discuss options with this. And then if I came back to the board and you guys were like, that's stupid, we don't think that's a good idea, then what was the point? If I didn't have the authority to do
No, I
that.
think it sounds great. It sounds super great. Is this a role that Buddy could also serve in?
Sure.
Okay. Buddy, I'd just be curious to hear from you if that's an interest of yours. If you're
He's,
available. Okay.
yeah, no, he's there.
Hey, I'm here. Have an interest in what? I'm having a little hard time hearing through the speaker.
So buddy, Emily was wondering if you'd be interested in acting as the board's representative with the union.
Ooh, boy. That's a tough one. If nobody else wants to do it, I can do it, but, and again, I was listening in, what are all the duties exactly? I mean, are you in on the wage negotiations and stuff?
Yes.
See, I'd be okay, but,
You would lead the wage negotiations, as a matter of fact.
oh, oh boy, you're giving me a lot of trust. I would worry. I think I'm a reasonably smart gentleman, but I would not. I'd have to really upgrade my self on the finances available from the both townships and within the fire territory itself. I need some assistance on that, on how much money's available, I guess. I guess. So, yeah, if nobody else wants to do it, I'd be willing to do it.
I'm happy to do
That's
it,
a shame.
but if the board wants separation between the provider unit, trustee,
I
and the
see.
union, then I would understand.
I think a little bit to Buddy's point though too, is having a very good knowledge of our budget makeup is important to that when you're talking about how much is really on the table that we can negotiate with. I mean, nothing against Buddy or anyone else, but you do have that knowledge of like, hey.
No, I do, no, and like I said, I'm happy to accompany, nothing says I couldn't come to those meetings.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. I have sat in wage negotiations before when I was a member of the city council with the fire and the police. I wasn't on the actual negotiating team, but I was involved with the council side, so.
It makes sense to me at this point to keep things remaining since you've been a part of this initial kind of onset, Jason. I was kind of curious. I know you wear a lot of hats, and so I'm thinking about the benefit of having some neutrality in that space.
Yeah.
I think it might be prudent to keep you, since you're very familiar and a building phase in some ways, because this is such a new venture. So I recommend you for that role, Jason.
This could be more than one person.
Well,
Maybe two of you can do it together.
That's what I was gonna say, maybe it could just be, any serious negotiating meeting could be me and this other person representing the board.
Would you be amenable to that, Betty?
what's that?
Would you be amenable to sharing the role with Jason?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to have to step out now. I'm up to present. We're first on the agenda for the council. I will be right back as soon as I'm done here. But I'm willing to do that. Might as well have the firefighters hate me and maybe the two township boards too. You're never
When I
happy.
said that, I was like, am I hated or loved? I'm not sure.
But I'll do my best. I'm willing to do it, sit in on it.
Well, it sounds like a nomination, me and Buddy. Okay.
Okay. Thank you. I'll be back in a minute. I'll turn my camera on when I'm back.
Bobby, you seconding this? Do I second my own nomination? I'll second myself. All in favor? Assume Buddy would be an aye. Is that 5 ayes?
I mean, but, well, Buddy's.
Okay, no problem. What we can do, if anybody's interested in attending these meetings, the other thing I was gonna suggest is.
For to know when they are.
Yeah, well, I mean, we'll have to schedule them that way. For Eric and Wendy's sake also.
Thursday, I think it is, and part of that was we're gonna put together a timeline of some of those meetings, so we'll get that to you guys.
Oh, great.
You'll have, here's when they are.
Okay.
You do those at night, chief, or during the day, or when do you do those?
Most of the time, it is that, not all, it's like,
That's what I thought.
yeah.
But it's always available.
Okay, the new business. You're running this. Yeah.
Okay, any old business?
We don't have any.
Okay, moving on to provider unit report.
This is usually where I would review the budget or financial stuff, which we just done now for the year, so it'd be a rehash of the same thing. But also, I would talk about anything going on with insurance, some kind of change coming up, but I don't think we have anything from our end, Sam, nothing super notable, I'm trying to think. Nothing worth putting on the agenda, I guess, so, yeah, no provider unit report.
Chief's report.
So we always, give a run report, so you should have that in your pack there to kind of give a summary of how many runs we did last year, as well, we included last year as well as last month. We always highlight on there too, the runs that we go to that's out of our district, or we're providing assistance to other, fire departments in the area, as well as when we receive assistance from other fire departments in the area. And the other thing that I try to track is when we are relying on someone else, primarily Southland Fire Department, to provide the transportation for a call. As that number continues to increase, that kind of supports the need to add another ambulance or things of that nature. So unless you have questions on those run reports, you can ask those or answer those. But
That's that. You're happy Mayflower Bridge is open now, right?
what's that?
Happy Mayflower Bridge is
They
open.
call Bridge is a very, benefit of that being open. Yeah, it's a big benefit.
Hey, so IPW, how many false calls are we gonna get there? Before we start charging them?
That's an interesting thing, because we haven't traditionally charged people for false alarms.
Where at IBW?
Yeah.
Unity Hall?
We get a lot of false
In
alarms.
their new training center they built out there, we get
It's their system all year.
False calls, yeah, for alarms.
Is that not something that's done, charging or?
You do it at times, there's actually ordinances that were passed that you can do that. In that case where it's a single owner, it's harder when it's a rental and, you have an apartment complex or really apartment. Might be going there 10 times, but it's 5 different apartments. In this case where there's just one, that is something where you could issue charges to them. That's not totally uncommon,
No,
but,
I mean, I'm half joking, but at some point,
Is
maybe one of those.
that on?
No, I follow the calls on my phone and I saw the false alarm 7
yeah.
in the last month, so it's a lot. Though it's not all IBW.
Yeah.
It's not all ABW, but we do go there.
Have you talked to anybody there about
Like, the last time we went there, they did tell us that there's something with their alarm systems and computers that there's something with their connections going in and out that's causing the alarm. Yeah, that's what the guy told us, because when we got there was no active alarm, there were still people in the building. And I was like, so what's going on? The guy goes, we already fixed it. It went off when a power glitch popped and, okay. And
Turn around, go home.
we're in and out, yeah, couple seconds, so.
2 AM, I think, on your phone.
You know, maybe you just
Really? That's
might want to
interesting.
send them a nice little note, that you're aware of it. And,
I brought it up to Piontek in the past, just casually.
that's me, I'd go right to Lita and ask Lita, I said, hey, what's going on here? It's taking up a lot of the territory's time, sending people out here,
Yeah, I would just hate for it to happen in the middle of the night.
So the training report you can see there, just so we kind of highlight the number of hours that our guys are doing. They pretty regularly go into every month doing training, as well as some of the topics that we've hit. And then several of our guys still going to outside training, whether it's going to the advanced EMT class, a paramedic class, safety officer class, firefighter training, that's what we just highlight that briefly.
Do we, ALS, do we get certified yet? The guys are certified?
Our department's certified, so it's not an individual, but our department, we now have all the medication that we were waiting on to finally get. We carry them all. There's one other medication that's on back order, but that's not prevented us from trying to service. So, yeah, we're standalone in that area.
And those ongoing trainings are isolated for the paramedics and so forth. It's not for all, it wouldn't be something that's covered in these training?
So we have 3 members that are in the paramedic class. We're actually trying to become certified as paramedics.
Uh-huh.
We have 2 members right now that are in the advanced EMT class to get certified as an advanced EMT. So that's all outside training. Inside, every month, our guys go and do, they review the protocols that we have, as well as do another EMS training, whether that could be on, mannequin, bandaging, packaging, whatever you may want to do. We rarely do that every night.
Facilities.
Only real thing probably to note there, you may have noticed, unless it was dark already up there, a little pile of dirt by our new well. We had to put a new well in this station, at no cost. Viewer did that, it was for free, but found out that there was some problems with our existing well, had a little too much sand in it. So, today came out and drilled us a new well, and now we're online with that new well, so that was a good thing.
And moving on to other reports, the union representative report.
I don't have a whole lot. Trying to become more involved in the community. We helped Forest Township with a holiday meal giveaway. We donated $500 to the road place in our territory. So we reached out to the Lighting Church. We started helping them out in the lighting lines too, with just some things going on in the community. So that was a big thing we're focusing on right now. Getting more involved in the communities.
For the church, is it food pantry?
Yes.
Okay.
My daughter's.
We also give there, so just kind of curious, and everyone who's on the top.
I talked to Elaine.
Uh-huh.
Just picked that up. She didn't mention any kind of like how they staffed it or run it really, but she said she was excited about it, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you receive volunteer
Yeah,
hours?
Yep.
Great. Yeah, Bobby, you've been our
What
contact.
was that?
You mentioned that the union's been volunteering with the Lighting Church, and I was curious if it was food assistance. And that we understand they've been going through some transition with their
Yeah, they're
food
going,
pantry.
yeah. There's recent one big member, Karen is moving,
Yeah.
you know?
Hmm.
He's moving and they're just, I'm just concerned about the structure of it, you know? The foundation of that, you know, I support what they're doing entirely. I mean, actually, the township is gonna get some money, but I just question the stability of that too. And I know that, I think the Lions have helped out a little bit with that, and they, Wendy, I know that, you know, because I was at a couple of their, you know, when they had food out and they had to get, the pastor at the church had to get volunteers, you know, they had nobody else. And I know they want to get out of there, they'd like to get out of there, but
Maybe we can talk more and collaborate.
Yeah.
That's a continued interest.
absolutely.
Thank you. Anything else?
Oh, yeah.
All in finally, any other discussion items from the board?
I have one. I'm updating the meeting series to, you know, add Emily to this. Eric, Wendy, would you like to be on this series? I mean, obviously you can come anytime you want. Can we leave you on there? Eric, would you like me to add you?
Sorry, I grabbed the wrong mouse. That was to add to email list, correct?
To the meeting series for these fire territory meetings. You don't need to come to all of them, but if you want to, I can add you to the series so that you know when they are, or you can dial in.
Okay, yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah. I know that Muhammad and Cheryl will not want to do that, so. They do plenty, they won't care. So, okay, that was it for me, Emily. Yep, yeah, we try to get those out the Friday before.
Meeting.
So, I motion to adjourn the meeting.
Oh.
Right.
All in favor?
Aye, nice job. Okay, Eric, thanks, buddy.
Chief, you just.
Funny thing about adjourning meetings